The government building. Intruder. I've been with my company for over 6 years. And because of my seniority, I often get first pick of shifts. Normally, I avoid nights. But a few months back, we picked up a government building contract. The place itself was strange. A massive 6-story building sitting in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by miles of woods, a single gated road, and a 10-foot barbed wire fence. For a while, I stuck 2 mornings, but we had trouble keeping night guards, especially on weekends. So my supervisor begged me to cover a few shifts. I needed extra cash, so I agreed. The first 2 weekends were fine. The third, I'll never forget. It was 2 a.m., storm raging outside. I sat in the control room on the top floor, lights off, killing time with my phone. I stretched, walked to the window, and in a flash of lightning, saw a figure dart between the trees outside the fence. My pulse spiked. Another flash lit up the woods, but nothing was there. I tried convincing myself I was tired, grabbed an energy drink, and sat back down. Minutes later, one of the parking lot cameras cut out. I glanced out the window and saw the camera itself swinging loose, wires exposed. Probably the storm, I thought. But then the access alarm went off. Someone had entered a keypad door. On the monitor, the light turned green. Whoever it was had the code. My desk phone was dead. My cell had no service. I decided to try the stairwell for a signal, but before I could make a call, the entire building went black. Power cut. I crept into the stairwell, gun holstered but trembling in my hands. That's when I heard it's the sound of a door opening below, followed by slow, heavy footsteps climbing toward me. My training screamed at me to hold my ground, but fear won. I turned and hurried back up toward the roof access. Halfway there, my pistol clanged against the railing. The footsteps stopped, then sprinted upward fast. Panic surged. At the top floor, I threw open a door, slammed it shut to create a diversion, then scrambled up the roof ladder, hiding in the shadows. Seconds later, a man in black burst through the door and ran into the hallway. When the heavy door closed behind him, I dropped from the ladder, bolted down the stairwell, and heard him chasing again. Closer with each step. By some miracle, he slipped and crashed behind me. I didn't look back. I tore through the lobby doors, rain pounding my face, and dove into my truck. As I sped away, tires screeching, I caught one final glimpse of him, masked, hooded, sprinting out of the building after me. When the police arrived, we searched everything. The man was gone. But in the stairwell, they found what he had dropped, a loaded, unregistered handgun. To this day, no one knows who he was or why he was there. And I thank God I didn't find out. Story 2. the man in the parking garage years ago. I worked nights as a security guard in a corporate office building in New Jersey. Most nights were uneventful, until one night that's burned into my memory forever. It was just past midnight. The building was empty except for me and the hum of the monitors. As I scanned the feeds, I froze. Someone was moving between the cars in the underground garage. The lot should have been empty. Cleaning crews had left hours earlier. He wore a long, dark coat. He wasn't heading toward a car or the exit, just drifting, like he was waiting. My gut told me to check it out. Against orders, I grabbed my flashlight and went down. The garage was silent, suffocatingly still. Every echo of my footsteps felt deafening. I searched every row, every shadow, nothing. I finally convinced myself it was a glitch. But when I sat back at my desk, there he was again, same spot. Watching this time, I didn't move. I just stared, cold sweat running down my back. For 20 minutes, I tracked him on the cameras until he slowly approached the stairwell, disappeared. Not on another feed, not in the elevators, just gone. Then the lobby elevator dinged, empty. But wet footprints trailed out bare feet. Across the polished floor, I froze. He was inside, somewhere. Every dark office, every storage closet suddenly felt alive with possibility. I forced myself to patrol one of the upper floors. Halfway down the hallway, I saw an office door ajar. Heart pounding. I peeked inside. Empty dot, but when I stepped back into the hall, I heard it. Footsteps, wet, heavy. Behind me, I spun. Flashlight catching a flash of the dark coat at the far end of the corridor. He wasn't running. He was just moving toward me with purpose. I bolted. My radio crackled in my hand. My breath echoing off the walls. His footsteps chasing me all the way to the stairwell. Then, suddenly, they stopped. By the time backup arrived, I was pale and shaking. We searched every floor. Nothing. Cameras for that time frame. Corrupted, erased, like it never happened. I quit within a month. To this day, parking garages make my skin crawl, because I'll never forget the sound of those wet footsteps closing in. Story 3. The medical clinic. This happened just days ago during my first night of training as a mobile security guard in Toronto. My supervisor was showing me the ropes when we stopped at a medical clinic for a routine check. It was 1:15 a.m. Right away, something was wrong. The underground garage gate was wide open, and the front door looked forced. My supervisor frowned. If there was a break-in, the alarm should be blaring. But it was silent. We stepped inside, cautiously. That's when we noticed the elevator was moving on its own. Floor by floor, up to the very top. My heart raced. "Someone's in here," I whispered. My supervisor gripped his baton. We rode the elevator up, dreading what might be waiting. But the top floor was pitch black, empty. Then footsteps in the stairwell, descending fast. We froze at the door, listening. The steps stopped suddenly. Silence. My supervisor's voice shook as he radioed dispatch. "We need backup. Someone's in the building with us." 15 minutes crawled by. Finally, our senior supervisor arrived. Together, we swept the building floor by floor. Nothing until, just as we reached the third floor, the sound of the front door slamming echoed up to us. Footsteps running into the night. We weren't fast enough. Whoever had been in there had slipped away. To this day, I don't know if it was a burglar, a squatter, or something else entirely. All I know is the thought of returning there alone this weekend makes my stomach drop. 3 different guards, 3 different nights, but one terrifying truth. When you're working alone after dark, you never really know who, what might be there with you.